You ever seen someone walk into a room and make everybody else look small without even trying? Not by yelling, not by dressing flashy, not even by demanding attention. Just by being so completely themselves that nobody could look away? I have. And her name was Lorraine. It started with a joke. One of those cruel, rich boy jokes made over whiskey and ego. Richard Lancaster, a hotshot real estate developer in Manhattan, was planning his 50th birthday party Big Hamptons estate. Catered oysters, drones in the sky, probably even a string quartet flown in from Prague. The man had more money than manners. One evening, up in his glass-walled penthouse office, he and a couple of his business buddies were tossing around ideas for the party theme. And then Richard smirked, swirled his bourbon, and said, "What if we invited Lorraine? You know, the janitor with the giant earrings?" His friends howled. One of them choked on his cigar. Another added, "Make sure she brings her mop and bucket." The laughter bounced off marble and leather, thick with cruelty hidden behind designer labels. But that joke? It wasn't harmless. Because Lorraine, she heard it. See, she was cleaning out the trash in the kitchenette just outside. Door cracked open. She hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but when your name is the punchline, you tend to stop what you're doing. She stood there for a good 10 seconds, rubber-gloved hand holding a trash bag, and listened to how little they thought of her. The next morning, Lorraine found a white envelope slipped into the cleaning supply closet. Thick cardstock, gold lettering. It looked real, and in a way it was. "You are cordially invited to Richard Lancaster's 50th birthday celebration. Black tie required. Saturday, 7 p.m., Bridgehampton Estate." But there was no RSVP, no return address, just a message meant to humiliate. Now here's the thing about Lorraine. She'd been through worse. Lost her husband to cancer. Raised 3 kids on 2 jobs. Worked nights so her youngest could finish college. Paid off a house 1 paycheck at a time. Survived a heart attack, breast cancer, and being overlooked more times than she could count. But this wasn't just another slight. This was a dare wrapped in a velvet glove. And Lorraine wasn't the kind of woman to walk away from a dare. She took the rest of the day off, told her supervisor it was for personal reasons. Hopped a bus to her old neighborhood in the Bronx. Walked into Miss Clara's salon, the same one she used to go to 20 years ago when she wanted to feel like herself again. Got her hair done, pressed, curled, and styled with quiet elegance. Then she made her way to a second-hand boutique in Harlem. Found a navy blue gown with clean lines, soft fabric, and a neckline that whispered instead of shouted. Classic, powerful, unapologetic. Saturday came. The party buzzed like a nest of wasps. Guests in silk and satin, ex-senators with their 5th wives, influencers pretending to know about wine. Richard's people were everywhere, shiny, loud, and smug. And somewhere in the kitchen, the caterers were whispering about the joke invitation. "You think she'll really show up?" one asked. "I hope not," someone else laughed. "It'd be embarrassing. For everyone." But right at 6:58 p.m., a black rideshare pulled up to the estate. And out stepped Lorraine. Hair like a crown, gown like armor. No entourage. No need. Just her small silver clutch, and that look. Like she already knew she'd won. The hostess at the gate looked twice at the guest list, then at Lorraine. "Name?" she asked. "Lorraine Dupree," she said calmly. A pause. A visible swallow. Then, "Right this way, ma'am." Inside, the room changed. Conversation stuttered. Champagne flutes froze halfway to lips. Some didn't recognize her at all. Others, the ones in Richard's inner circle, recognized her too well. She walked with grace, not arrogance. Like someone who wasn't impressed, but wasn't angry either. Just present. And that presence? It made the floor creak beneath every pair of overpriced shoes. Richard spotted her just as she was reaching for a glass of champagne. His eyes widened just a flash, then covered it with a grin. "Lorraine, well, look at you," he bellowed, walking over. She didn't flinch, just smiled softly. "Mr. Lancaster." "Come on now. It's a party, call me Richard." He laughed too loud, too fast. "Since you invited me." she said. I thought I'd show up. And with that one sentence, every insult he'd ever thrown at her became the punchline. He tried to recover, introducing her to people with fake charm and forced warmth. Some asked about her dress. Others were more direct. Are you in real estate too? Someone asked. No, she said plainly. I clean the offices where deals get made. A few chuckled awkwardly, but others leaned in, asked questions, wanted to know more. Because Lorraine didn't play up the drama, she told stories. Honest ones. About raising kids. Scraping by. Choosing dignity over despair. By dessert, the room had shifted. Slowly, like a tide. More people sat near her. The staff treated her like royalty. One young server whispered, My aunt would have loved to see you here tonight. Lorraine just nodded. She's here. You're carrying her. Meanwhile, Richard stood by the bar, alone, swirling his drink, watching his party slip away from him bit by bit, smile by smile. He grabbed the mic, trying to reassert control. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, sometimes life brings us surprises. But no one laughed. Not the way he expected, because the room had already chosen their main character and it wasn't him. Then came the moment that sealed it all. Douglas, one of Richard's old college friends, stood up to toast, raised his glass high and said, To Lorraine, our most unexpected guest. Takes guts to come where you don't quite fit. The air went cold. Lorraine didn't blink. She set her glass down, looked him in the eye, and said, I didn't come here to fit. I came because I was invited. Whether I fit or not, that's not your call. You could hear a pin drop. Then Callie, a young woman sitting nearby, clapped. And then others followed. Not polite clapping. Real, slow, powerful applause. Like respect arriving through the front door. Later that night, Lorraine stood on the back veranda, coat around her shoulders, looking out at the garden lights. Callie came up behind her. I thought I'd be invisible tonight. But you made this whole place feel different. Lorraine smiled. You don't need permission to be seen, baby. You just need to keep showing up. And when Richard finally approached alone, eyes lower than usual, tried to apologize. I didn't think you'd come, he said. I know, Lorraine replied. That was the point. He stammered, tried to explain the joke, the invitation, the misunderstanding. She stopped him gently. Don't invite people to mock them. Invite them because you want them there. Otherwise, the joke's not on them, it's on you. She walked away before he could answer, because there was nothing left to say. And on Monday morning, when she clocked into work like she always did, something had shifted. People looked her in the eye, said hello, held the elevator. Not because she changed, but because they finally saw her. And Richard? He sat in his office, door closed, realizing that all his money couldn't buy what Lorraine carried naturally respect. Not everyone learns that in time. Some folks need a queen to walk through the room first. If this story hit something in you, if it reminded you of someone who deserves to be seen, or if it made you rethink how we measure dignity, drop your thoughts in the comments. Who's the real guest of honor in your story? Would you have clapped? Or looked away? I want to know. And hey, don't forget to subscribe, because these aren't just stories, they're reminders of who we really are when no one's watching.